My name is Karl Richards. I'm the head of the Environment, Soils and Land Use Department, and I'm going to talk to you about the policy challenges about reducing greenhouse gas emissions from Irish agriculture. Put the policy changes in context. Currently, national greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture account for 32% of our total national greenhouse gases. This is predicted to increase by 2020 to 48% of our national emissions, and that's mainly due to a reduction in greenhouse gases from other sectors within the Irish economy. The two main policy challenges that we have is, on one hand, increasing agricultural production under the Food Harvest 2020 policy, which targets increasing milk production by 50% and the value of beef and sheep production by 20%. The second policy challenge is the EU greenhouse gas emissions policy, which is targeting reducing greenhouse gas emissions by up to 40% by 2030. So on the one hand, we increase agricultural production, and on the other hand, we have to cut greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture. In the early 1990s, the Kyoto Protocol also targeted reductions in greenhouse gas emissions, and agriculture reduced their greenhouse gas emissions by 9% between 1990 and 2012. The EU climate policy is targeting reducing greenhouse gas emissions to avoid our climate increasing above 2 degrees centigrade, above which value the uncertainties around climate and climate anomalies increases dramatically. So the two policy challenges, increasing production and reducing greenhouse gas emissions, place a new emphasis on agriculture to reduce its emissions and to optimize its production levels. Research that we've been involved with previously has highlighted that production can be increased, the efficiency of production can be increased, while at the same time reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Another tool that we have developed to help reduce and optimize greenhouse gas emissions is the Carbon Navigator. So the Carbon Navigator provides farmers with a tool to identify where on their farm they can improve their efficiency and reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. It benchmarks them against the best people in their sector and clearly identifies how they can reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. And many of these reductions are efficiency based, whereby they improve the efficiency of their production, reducing their costs, while at the same time reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The 2030 Climate and Energy Framework introduces an emissions reduction for greenhouse gases of 40%. Interestingly, it recognises for the first time the need for food security and climate policy to be integrated. It also highlights the difficulties within agriculture of achieving emissions reductions, and for the first time also it introduces the offsetting of emissions based on carbon sequestration within soils and within forestry. The Agricultural Greenhouse Gas Consortium, being led by Teagasc and Johnstown Castle, is working on methods and techniques for farmers to further reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. This focuses on the greenhouse gases such as methane, which comes from enteric fermentation within ruminants and within the manure that they produce. It also focuses on reducing nitrous oxide emissions from soils related to fertilizer application and dung and urine application from grazing animals. The project also is working on carbon sequestration within our grassland and tillage soils and ways to improve the carbon sequestration potential of those. The project will integrate this within a systems framework which will help further identify greenhouse gas emissions reductions that will be achievable within the Irish agricultural sector. The sector is facing challenges in relation to providing sustainable food security into the future and reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and this will be achieved through the optimization and improved efficiency on farms to enhance agricultural production while at the same time reducing greenhouse gas emissions.